As a kid, I really enjoyed the miniseries, but what I did once I got the job, I went back to rewatch it, and it was actually kind of fun it's fun to watch it 25 years later.
It's funny because you look back and the original show, you know, there were so many strong images, you know, the rat eating, everybody remembers the baby, so much skin coming off, so many scales being shown.
Besides the fact that it's got 80s visual effects, it's still a super compelling, fun miniseries.
You know, I just remember all these strong images from the show, but I remember them through the eyes of a 12-year-old that hadn't seen a lot of makeup effects at the time. So they were just like, wow, this stuff is cool. It was, you know, it was another thing that kind of, you know, pushed me down the road into this work, into this craft, right?
Mankind and visitors coming together. We are honored by your friendship.
I can't even remember how old I was, but I remember being quite young, you know, 12 or so, and watching the original show. Yeah, how it really shook things up. It was one of the first shows that introduced the whole genre of, you know, the alien introduction and infiltration. You look back at it now, and you know, it was really pretty cool at the time. It was pretty cheesy by today's standards, right? So it was cool. It was nice to take a chance at some of the to get a look at some of the concepts of that and redevelop them so that they could work, you know, with today's audiences, and you know, think them through a little further, and using modern materials and techniques, we could design something that was pretty cool.
The prepping crew needs to have a script early enough that they can build sets and that they can design costumes and they can begin to create what's needed for the director on the day of the shoot.
It starts off with Toby coming down with the script. He gives it a read. Once in a while, he'll hand it over to one of us to read. Then comes out the pad and paper. We throw down sketches, ideas. It doesn't have to be a work of art on the piece of paper. If it makes sense, then we go with it.
Get a script and do up some designs, do up some plans, and you know, we'll have our general approach figured out.
If we need a life cast to come in, we might be doing a life cast for that, and then replicating that in stone and doing the sculptures. Maybe making some experiments, like just a few test rigs, see if it works or not, working out what goes wrong or what doesn't, or what's good or what doesn't work.
And the scripts come out and you just hit the ground running and start building stuff.
Okay, this is one of our greatest pieces from the first season. It was built for the pilot. It's a duplicate of Alan Tudyk, I believe is his last name pronunciation. The character's Dale. It's quite plasticized, so it's especially in the filling of the neck, so we can really have it moving around without it buckling too much.
From the pilot, we decided to create duplicate heads with an actual thickness and a puppet aspect, so we could animate the creature within and show a real depth, and still have the exterior skin, you know, proportional and realistic as well.
The way it was actually built, it's just on a stand here now, but it was built so that my head, the neck actually really fits my forearm really tight, and it's a plasticized silicone in there, so the head can kind of roll and loll naturally.
The head that we did was cable controlled and puppeteered, so it was like the hand was up inside the puppet, and so it was manually puppeteered, and then just external cables to control the eye blinking and just some movement inside it.
The biggest change in the look of what we're seeing of our inner aliens is the depth to which they're sort of set into the skin. The concept is that it's a cloned human skin that's sort of grafted and created over top of these reptiles. This lizard skin itself, you know, you'd think that would be the advanced technology material, but that's the throwback stuff. That is actually just latex, and it's painted and layered with iridescence, So, you know, like actual reptile skin and scales, they aren't particularly translucent like human skin. Scales are actually foam latex. Classic Wizard of Oz stuff, right? For like these wound pieces that are reveals, we got to shoot with these actors, you know, clean up until that moment, and then they got to turn the camera around and shoot something else while we get them in and put these pieces on them.
They will use a glue, an adhesive, to put these pieces onto the actors.
But it's just for a quick application on set, so I had a vacuum plate that straps onto him.
Usually you use the mundane task of foam latex running, or some to make latex or silicone or gelatin pieces that Toby will, or other makeup effects artists will apply on set.
There were cables underneath that kind of moved around just to get a bit of a movement on the scales.
Okay, we can't do your standard sort of 2-3 hour applications. So yeah, we brought things down to like half hour.
And to get things out quick, we got to make sure they're done right, and the only way to do that is to have more than one mind on it.
They do a great job of, you know, putting together things appliances that stick to people's skin, that look real and feel wet, and also depth. So we'll see a lot of times a V will get split open, or something will happen, and Ryan's arm healing and all that kind of stuff. You know, when you get down into there, they don't have time to build an appliance that's big enough off the top of someone's real arm to get that feeling that we're looking down deep inside something.
Most often, our collaboration with visual effects, we've created a lot of like the exterior wounds, the affected skin, and you know, getting that depth started, and they've carried the depth a little further. We basically will chroma key green the inner area of the wound, the skin underneath, and they can replace that with whatever digital scale is decided in the end.
What we do is we work with Toby, and he sends us drawings or mock-ups or even other prosthetics that he's done. Like when a V gets cut open, he would give us just the very lip of what that prosthetic piece is, and then underneath there'd just be a piece of green screen, and we'd put the lizard skin on top of it.
Visual effects itself is settling into something that's a little more palpable, and it's becoming a little bit more believable because, and only when, most of the time, it's used in conjunction with special effects makeup. For instance, the palm appliance we did, where there was a V reveal of lizard skin underneath. I'm assuming it would have been quite hazardous and very time-consuming to do layers and layers on top of the palm. And when you're dealing with focal points like hands, face, it can get very easy to crowd and very unbelievable. But fortunate enough for us, we were able to chroma key the palm, throw a nice appliance on top that looked like a split, and have visual effects insert whatever depth of scale that we couldn't achieve physically. Well, when I see visual effects, I don't see it as a standalone feature. I see it as a great partner with special effects makeup, because of some of the things we've seen, especially on V, with the revealing of the aliens underneath and the skins and the all sorts of textures. We've had fantastic results, in my opinion, from the union of those two.
Naturally, I prefer practical effects because that's what I do, and it's more enjoyable because it's physical. And in terms of filming, it's just always more real and raw. So what you see is like what you get, kind of thing. And like with digital, it's not really always. You're not sure. Like the actors and everyone's just all imaginary behind them, so you're not really sure what's happening. I just like the real life building and creating and keeping it real like it used to be.
I'm more affected emotionally, you know, on a personal level by something that I can believe that is, and it's weird because it's the subtleties of the dirtiness, the little details, the gritty details. It's always a challenge, you know. We're not just, you know, assembly lining something, you know, that's been done 100 times. Every little project has its own set of complications and challenges.
Days can be long when it's really busy, and can be physically grueling.
We have limitations to what we can do that are not brought on by us. They're brought on by budgetary reasons or time constraints. And I look forward to those things because those are the things that help us push what we do.
Yeah, it's been a fun show. I was excited about it from the get-go, just for the fact that this is a show that affected my life and the path of my life. So definitely honored to be a part of it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Some great people to work with.
When you actually finish stuff, it's really good. So, especially when it's successful on set, that's like really rewarding.
V has yet again allowed us to be a part of another piece of history in science fiction entertainment, right? So, yeah, totally proud to be part of it.